Roe v. Wade is gone, okay? Roe v. Wade is history. Now, what does that mean for babies in the womb? Well, it means two things. Number one, it means that at least 12 states have put in place or allowed laws that are already in place to be used to ban abortions, essentially. So typically 30 days out from the reversal of Roe v. Wade, these laws would be in effect. Some of them are in effect now. A lot of states have just outright banned abortion. A lot of states are doing what Texas has done, which basically means banning abortion at 6 weeks or more at the point that you can detect a heartbeat, which is actually 4 weeks, but we won't get into that. If Roe hadn't flipped this year, then next year it would have still been in place, and we would have had basically 50 years of this country being subservient to an ideology that virtually every other country on the planet Earth has rejected besides North Korea and China. Okay, that's how horrible our abortion permits are in this country. And it's not like New York or Colorado has gotten any less strict on abortion. They still allow abortion up to 9 months. But at the very least, the entire country isn't forced to subscribe to this horrific law that was smashed through in 1973 that we all knew as Roe versus Wade. So now that Roe is gone, what's going to happen? Well, a lot of people are saying, well, abortion is now banned. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Okay. Basically, abortion is now on the ballot everywhere. Every state's rushing to push through or sign off or reinstate an act that will be in favor of or that will be permitting abortions to take place in their jurisdiction. So in essence, it's a free-for-all. It's a race right now. If your state doesn't already have a standing on where the people want abortion to be, then it's going to have one. And those Democrats, those Republicans are scribbling away on what they want their policies to say. And if, again, there's nothing in place, it probably will be in place come November if they haven't had something ready to go through once this decision was made. So all that to say, if for whatever reason you are in a abortion sanctuary state, I don't know why you would be there. No. If you're in California or New York or Colorado, and you are experiencing the wrath of abortion-minded institutions such as Planned Parenthood, which now have a safe haven in these areas, you need to mobilize the pro-life community in your areas. I've heard that the March for Life is not going to be canceled next year, even though Roe has flipped. So praise be to God, that's going to happen. And this, the energy that the March for Life brings, for better or for worse, at the very least helps you understand that you are not crazy, you're not alone, and that the echo chamber of pro-aborts in your midst back at home is completely drowned out by the mass of people that show up outside of the White House or walking down Pennsylvania Avenue during the March for Life. So you have people, whether you think that that's the case or not, you have people. You might not have politicians on your side because those people were placed probably by abortionists. Politicians get lobbied so much by abortionists. Abortionists make a ton of money, okay? They pay these politicians to be in place. Why? So that they can keep having abortions, all right? But it was literally in lockstep. Once Roe flipped, okay, all these states just started throwing out these bans or reinstating these bans on abortion. States don't like abortion, okay? Whether Planned Parenthood likes that or not, okay? you wouldn't have, what is that, a fourth of the country just immediately saying, we don't want this. To the extent that we can limit this, we will, because we don't want this. Our people don't want this. Abortionists have to push politicians to allow them to do their heinous job of killing little human beings. So this is daunting, but it is not impossible. And honestly, probably all of us thought roe flipping was quote unquote impossible, and it happened. So now we need to focus on these sanctuary states, these locations where Planned Parenthood will find a nice little cubby hole to feel like they're not going to get bothered and they can do whatever ludicrous crimes to women that they would like. And I use crime loosely because obviously in those areas, it's not a crime to kill people, which is insane. I digress. So we are not at the end of this fight by any means. But at the very least, you should know who the players are, where your support lies, and what you need to do. So in states like the one that I'm from Florida, it is literally a coin toss. We just passed the 15-week ban just a couple months before Roe was flipped. And up until that point, you could abort at 24 weeks in Florida. So it's like there's this incredible tug of war in Florida that's been going on. As opposed to like Texas, where they put in the 6-week ban months and months before Roe was flipped, or Oklahoma, where they just outright banned it unless the woman was raped or was a victim of incest. So, and that was just in lieu of Roe. They did not care. They just said, I don't care what Roe is saying. We're going to ban it as much as we possibly can. And so they passed that bill. So every state right now is different. And it's good to know which states, I'm not going to say they don't need our attention, because as crooked as Planned Parenthood is, they're going to try to override these bans. They're going to do whatever they can to help themselves make money in more places as possible. That's all they've been doing. But the whole time Roe, that abortion has been legal in the United States. But at the very least, you know that these are not sanctuary states. The sanctuary states are going to be the places that are just bloodbaths for abortion, because that's where women, especially women that are seeking late-term abortions, are going to go to get the abortions that they want, because it's legal there. So personally, what I am looking to do is to educate people on the issue of abortion. Why do I want to do that? Well, for two reasons. Number one, people are impressionable. For Roe to have been flipped, it's basically rattled a question in everybody's brain in this country that hasn't really given much thought to the abortion question as to whether or not abortion should be legal. And again, the law is not God, but for some reason, human beings feel like if something is legal, then it's okay. It's not technically true. Obviously, slavery was wrong, but that's still ingrained in our brains. But now that Roe is gone, now that the judges literally admitted that this was a mistake, people are now asking the question, is abortion okay? So this is a perfect time to start having a conversation about what abortion is, what it does, and why it is a bad thing. People will be more open to listening to that now because Roe has been flipped. The other reason is because there has been 50 years almost of brainwashing going on, especially to young women. Women are being told that they are pregnant with a blob of tissue until 24 weeks of pregnancy, when they can see the hands of the sonogram, which is outright brainwashing, because anybody with a biology degree knows that a baby in utero not only has a heartbeat at 6 weeks, it has fingers and toes. It is incredibly developed at 6 weeks. It looks like a person, just a small person, a person literally about that big, but all there, everything is there. You want to know how I know that? Not just because of a biology background, because honestly, most of you guys know that. People who have watched the Unplanned movie know that, because Abby Johnson talked about how she was watching a 6-week baby be aborted, and Carol Everett talked about how she was running abortion clinics, and the only way that you can determine if the baby was properly aborted even as young as 6 weeks, they both mentioned 6 weeks, is because all of the body parts have to be present and accounted for. You don't have all of your body parts present and accounted for if you're not developed. And if at 6 weeks you can account for arms, legs, fingers, and toes, then you're developed at 6 weeks. So it is a huge lie that's been fed to females for almost 50 years that they are not pregnant with a person, that they are pregnant with blobs of matter and cells, and that it's nothing there to be beholden. That is an outright lie. When we show abortion pictures, people don't believe what they're seeing. So they've been lied to. So we need to recorrect that. We need to correct that. That needs to have been gone. That needs to have been erased. And that is the second reason why I think education is paramount right now, not only because people are going to be listening to the question of whether abortion is right or wrong, but they are also going to be open to being educated on the matter. And hopefully science, in this case, will prevail. So those are my thoughts, and I will be back for more soon. Congratulations, guys. Roe is history.